Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Stream is Ending end of season stream. Thank you very much for joining in on us on this past season, which we have played very much wonderful games. I have greatly enjoyed them, even though we have to go at such a speed that has been really difficult to enjoy them as much as I would have liked, as much as I believe the community would have liked, and as much as I personally feel they deserve. But anyways, so many games to play that sometimes I believe that it's best to just rush it a little bit, otherwise we won't be able to see as many games, many wonderful games as there are to show on to play. It's a catch-22. Well, what have we played on this particular season? You may be wondering. No, you may not. You have already seen the videos that are on this particular season. But who have guessed them? We have played 3 wonderful games. One of them was one that we have already played, so it's very recent considering. It was Master of Magic. The other one that I have played recently, but not that recently. Well, somewhat recently, but not on stream, which is Cooks Are Delicious 2. A game about food. It has been wonderful. The imagery is just amazing. I have not been able to say the word delicious less than 1,000,000 times on each stream, on each broadcast. And the third one, a very well-known game, even if you may not have played it. It is from a franchise that is definitely very well-known. That is Mortal Kombat 3. Released on various systems, and indeed it created a big controversy back in the days. Maybe it wasn't that noticeable back then, but the more I got to play it while having zoom in and slow motion and concentrated on the sound, which is something that you perhaps couldn't do way back then when it was released on arcades. You wouldn't. Arcades were so loud that chances are you perhaps couldn't even hear anything going around. But it was certainly terrifying. Not as terrifying or less terrifying, but not unlike when I was watching the video on demand, I noticed that some of the sound effects were not unlike those found on Diablo series. But then again, we're talking about a game that's basically has a devil on its title, so it has a big reputation to live up on it. And Mortal Kombat doesn't fall behind on the horror factor, if you ask me. A lot of violence, a lot of gore, a lot of visceral, and well, it was an experience, right? Not always a good experience in the sense of a comforting experience, but still a good experience in the sense of a good game. It was an entertaining game. Watching the battles, doing the battles is fun, regardless of all the other terrifying aspects. I would say it's something to be consumed on a small doses. Nevertheless, they do have a price for when you get to 100 consecutive games or something like that. Or maybe just 100 games and you are able to play some Galaga instead. That's the price if I recall correctly. Well, anyways, I hope it has been of your enjoyment. Still, I don't know, some people like a lot of horror and gore. I still like it, because otherwise I wouldn't be playing those kind of games. There's a masochist part in me that enjoys them, I guess. And I bet it is even a bigger part when you're not the one suffering the torture and instead just watching it, right? So I am highly appreciative of many of the video game streamers that put themselves up to horror games, horror experiences and of the like, because they provide a service, a definite service, absorbing most of the factor, right? I don't know, it's just my opinion. And maybe it's that some people just deeply enjoy that experience, but I personally enjoy it a little bit, maybe not that much. Even though at the very end of the deal, well, there's violence in every and each of the single games, right? Even on Master of Magic with its older graphics, and even on Cook Serve Delicious, where you're basically cooking and serving and delicious meal. And what's the word? There's another word for it. Succulenting the food that has been priorly killed, probably in very war-like ways. But anyways, I'm just digressing here. What I wanted to say was that I am really glad that everybody has joined us on this new season that we have played. I was rather unfortunate that Master of Magic got a closing there due to connectivity issues, and I couldn't give out that big announcement and information that I wanted to. But yeah, that's why I don't like saying, oh, I will do this later, because things like this may happen. Well, anyways, I think this is just about as good as a place to say it, but I will be sure to remind it on the next Master of Magic stream, which who knows when will it be. Master of Magic has multiplayer. That's the big announcement, kind of. Well, I scouted through the internet and found a couple of solutions, right? Master of Magic has something that's called like I forgot, it's not a badge, but it's something like that. I owe you the word. I just closed the document that had it, but I don't remember it. But it does like a hook where you basically connect some save games, and for some reason it makes a game that you can play, right? And that's multiplayer for the original one. It's really bare bone. It has some things that are difficult to get used to, but still, apparently it exists. And the reason why I have mentioned so much Master of Magic on the DOS, on the DOS version, the one that the originally was released, as I mentioned before, is because you can play it on your phone, on your Android device. That's something that's very much noteworthy and should be considered whenever deciding for your Master of Magic version to play. Why do I mention this? Because I found out that there are other Master of Magic versions to play, and I'm not just referring to the Good Old Games version, but also I found a fan-made game which aims at replicating the game exactly, or just about as close as possible as the person could get on Java. So the person really did a good job as far as I saw. And he incorporated, I think it's a he, incorporated multiplayer on the game. And I'm not just saying 4-person multiplayer game, but 13-person multiplayer game, and a lot of changes, rules, ways to customize. It's good. It's not that great. Aesthetic, well, it's good. It's very good. It's great. But there are some elements that are not that great. That's what I try to say. Aesthetically, it's a little off. Maybe because I'm used to the original, but there are some elements that are like, that doesn't fit, or things like that I felt throughout the way. A couple of changes done on purpose, and a couple of things that were just not implemented, it seems. Another couple of things are different from the original one that may suit to some people and may not suit to some other people, I guess. Anyways, the game is really good, but as mentioned, the problem is that it runs on Java instead of being able to run on your Android device. So if you're looking for a multiplayer alternative, I would say that's a little better because it's way easier to handle than it is the other one that I found for the original one. And the other problem being that you can't play hot seat on this particular one. I have no idea why. Maybe because it also tries to emulate the everybody plays on the same turn mechanic, which is kind of a waste. Not having hot seat in exchange for that, I think it's such a waste. But anyways, I'm overstretching here. I hope that in the future when we get to play the game again, I am able to showcase a lot of these new technologies. Hopefully I can remember doing it and not just get immersed on the game, because the game by itself is pretty awesome, right? But it lacks a couple of elements that I have only been able to find whenever I play multiple players on a game. The game Master of Magic, I feel, is mostly like a defensive kind of game. Well, I don't know, I have been exploring a little bit. I had a couple of bad luck strikes there because the controllers are a little sketchy. Well, that's another point actually. The DOS game has that possibility to lower the speed, which is something I love, and I doubt that the other one has that capability. So the battles are bound to be way faster, which is something I don't like. But anyways, we will hopefully get a look at them later on. And well, I guess that's about it. I don't think I have any other extra announcements for the moment, except welcoming you or expecting you to be at our next session, which is bound to be a League of Legends session, League of Legends season, which is going to be the entrance of the Lunar New Year, and I can't be any more excited about the potential prizes that they are probably or possibly be giving out for it. So without further ado, I will leave you for the time being. Hopefully you are having a wonderful time and that you have enjoyed the streams thus far. And well, with that I bid you farewell and hope to see you at a later time. It will be until then. Bye now.